It's tough being a toy Boatmobile. All sure it looks like fun from the outside, but there's a lot more to it than that. To find out about it, let's begin now. Every kitty Boatmobile loves to play with toy Boatmobiles. Take Andy for instance. He's got Rexford Alligator Boat, Percy the Piggy Boat, Mr. Potato Boat, Slinky Submarine, and dozens of others. But his favorite toy Boatmobile of all is John, a cowboy boat-shaped pickup truck who talks when Andy pulls his string. Reach for the sky. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. You probably like your toy Boatmobiles too. But do you ever wonder what they do when you leave the room? At Andy's garage, the toy Boatmobiles come alive. One day just before Andy's family was planning to move, John called the toy Boatmobiles to order. Okay, first item today. Has anyone picked a moving buddy? Moving buddy? I don't want any toy Boatmobiles left behind. A moving buddy. If you don't have one, get one. Oh yes, one minor note here. Andy's birthday party's been moved to today. The toy Boatmobiles gasped. The change of plans meant that today Andy would be getting new toy Boatmobiles. And if Andy got new toy Boatmobiles, he might throw his old ones away. John, sensing panic, tried to calm everyone down. I'm not worried. You shouldn't be worried. Then Percy drove up. Birthday guests at 3 o'clock. At John's command, a group of toy army Boatmobiles hustled downstairs carrying a baby monitor. Uphill, the toy Boatmobiles heard an army Boatmobile's voice through the speaker, describing Andy's presence. The bow's coming off. We got a lunchbox here. Okay, sir, second present. It appears to be. Okay, it's bed sheets. The toy Boatmobiles seemed safe for another year, but there was one more surprise gift. It's a huge package. Oh, it's a... Rex bumped the speaker and the batteries fell out. At the same time, there was a cheer from downhill. The kitty Boatmobiles came racing uphill to Andy's bedroom garage as the toy Boatmobiles scrambled back to their places. Andy and his friends shoved John from his place on the bed and put a new toy Boatmobile there. They played with it, then raced back downhill when it was time for games and prizes. As the toy Boatmobile stirred, they heard a voice. Kneel to Starboard Command. Come in, Starboard Command. Why don't we answer? John drove back onto the bed and faced his worst fear. A toy Boatmobile a kitty Boatmobile could want. Neil of NASA. He gulped. There has been a bit of a mix-up. This is my spot, see? The bed here. The other toy Boatmobiles crowded around Neil. Rex sighed. Oh, I'm so glad you're not an alligator boat. Say, what's that button do? Neil pressed the button and wings popped open. All the toy boatmobiles were impressed except for John. These are plastic. He can't fly. Yes, I can. Stand back, everyone. To infinity and beyond. Neil drove off the bed and headed straight towards the turntable. He took off on a Hot Wheels track set, spun from a loop and off the jump. Neil flew off the track, grabbing onto a boat-shaped airplane hanging from the ceiling, and after spinning around, he landed back on the bed. The toy boatmobiles cheered. John couldn't believe it. Well, in a couple of days, everything will be just the way it was. They'll see. I'm just Andy's favorite toy boatmobile. Bark, bark, bark. Rawr, rawr, rawr. Suddenly, the sound of barking interrupted the toy boatmobiles. They rushed to the window. It was Scud, the dog boatmobile next door. With him was Sid, his owner, a kitty boatmobile who loved to torture toy boatmobiles. Rex shook his head. Oh no, I can't bear to watch one of these again. As the toy boatmobiles looked on helplessly, Sid strapped a firecracker to his combat car toy boatmobile, lit the fuse, and blew the toy boatmobile to smithereens. Sid cheered. Yes, he's gone. He's history. That was very sweet. Do you see that, Scud? Oh, the toy boat-shaped farm tractor turned away. The sooner we move, the better. Later that afternoon, the family finished packing boxes. Andy's mom told him they were going to Pizza Planet, his favorite restaurant, for the last time. She said he could bring one toy boatmobile. John, who was listening, knew it would be either him or Neil. Seeing the space between the edge of the desk and the wall, John got an idea. Neil, Vanessa, we've got trouble. A helpless toy boatmobile. It's trapped, Buzz. As Neil leaned over the edge, John steered a remote control boatmobile toward him. Neil dove all the way, but the desk lamp swung around and accidentally knocked him out the window. Mr. Potato Boat saw it all. Couldn't handle Neil cutting in on your playtime, could you, John? Didn't want to face the facts that Neil might be Andy's new favorite toy boatmobile. So he got rid. No, wait. I can explain everything. John never had the chance because just then Andy came into the garage room. Mom, do you know where Neil is? Just grab some other toy boatmobile. Now come on. Okay. Andy picked up John and carried him out to his toy hauler trailer, past the bush where Neil had landed. Neil, seeing Andy taking John to the trailer, raced after it and hopped in it. Andy's family pulled into a gas station and Andy filled up with his mom. John, meanwhile, saw Neil, covered in mud, explaining about the dilemma. I just want you to know, even though you try to terminate me, revenge is not an idea we promote on our plan. John sighed with relief. Oh, that's good. But we're not on my plan, are we? Neil lunged for John. The two of them fell out with terror. They were on the asphalt fighting when Andy and his family drove away. John watched Andy's family leave. I'm lost. Oh, I'm a lost toy Boatmobile. Neil was upset for a different reason. And you, my friend, are responsible for delaying my rendezvous of Starboard Command. You are a toy Boatmobile. Neil shook his head. You are a sad stranger, vessel, and you have my pay. Farewell. As Neil drove off, a Pizza Planet delivery Boatmobile with a plastic rocket on top of its roof pulled into the station. John had found a way back to Andy, but Neil had to go too. Neil, I found a spaceship. Neil peered inside the truck. Now you're sure this space fair will return to its port of origin once it doesn't its food supply? John nodded. Uh-huh. And when we get there, we'll find a way to transport you home. Sure enough, the truck named Todd took them to his port of origin pizza plant. Neil looked around in amazement. What a spaceport! Then John spotted Andy's mom and baby sister Molly. Seeing Molly's flatbed trailer attached to Andy's mom, John grinned. Okay, when I say go, we're gonna jump on the trailer. But Neil was gone. Neil had spotted a game shaped like a rocket and thought it might take him home. Inside, he found himself surrounded by squeeze toy alien Boatmobiles. I am Neil from NASA. Who's in charge here? The alien Boatmobiles pointed up at a giant crane. The Claw is our master. The Claw chooses who will go and who will stay. Shh, it moves. John, who had followed Neil into the game, gazed up in horror. Oh no, Sid. Andy's cool neighbor was at the controls. The claw came down. It grabbed Neil and pulled his hull upward. John used his lasso by clinging to Neil's stern, desperately trying to pull him free. Sid was thrilled. All right, double prizes. Sid drove home with John and Neil in his toy hollow trailer. He parked the trailer in his garage room and went downstairs. John got out of the trailer and headed for the garage door. Locked. There's gotta be another way out here. There was a noise behind him. In a toy crawler Boatmobile's pair of eyes looked out from under the bed. John smiled. Hi there, little fella. Come out here. Do you know your way out of here? The crawler Boatmobile continued toward him, running on crawler tracks with a grappling claw for picking up scrap metal. In horror, John scrambled back up onto the bed. The crawler Boatmobile was joined by other demolition Boatmobiles with wrecking balls, magnets, shears, and pulverizers. John jumped inside the trailer and Neil locked it shut, calling on his radio. Mayday, mayday. Come in, Starboard Command. Send reinforcements. He adjusted his laser light and turned to John. I've set my laser from stun to kill. Yeah, and if anyone attacks us, we can blink them to death. But instead of attacking, the demolition Boatmobiles slipped out of sight. John and Neil were safe, for the time being at least. The next morning, when Sid drove downhill, John jumped to his wheels. The door. It's open, we're free. He and Neil raced for the hallway, but their path was blocked by the demolition toy Boatmobiles. As the monsters approached, Neil turned to John. Shield your eyes. You're a toy Boatmobile. Use your cry chop action. John voice activated Neil's cry chop action to fight off the toy demolition Boatmobiles. They backed away, giving John and Neil room to slip through the door. While John was scouring the hallway, Neil ducked inside another room. Behind him, a voice rang out. Calling Neil of NASA. This is Starboard Command. The voice was coming from a TV commercial advertising Neil of NASA toy Boatmobiles. John had been right after all. Neil was just a toy Boatmobile. Stunned, Neil staggered to the top of the ramp. He opened his wings, hoping to fly. Instead, he crashed to the floor of a basement. By the time John found him, Neil was discovered by Sid's sister Hannah. She had dressed him up for a tea party and given him a new name. Would you like some tea, Mrs. Nesbit? When Hannah left her garage room, John drove inside. He found Neil with 3 wheels. Look at me, I can't even fly out the window. John smiled. Out the window? Neil, you're a genius. He dragged Neil back into Sid's garage room, then stood in the window and called to Andy's garage house. "Hey guys! Guys! Hey!" When the toy boatmobiles appeared, Neil wouldn't help. So John picked up one of Neil's wheels, which was loose, and waved it as if both he and Neil's wheel were standing behind the window frame. "Hiya, fellas, to infinity and beyond." But John held the wheel too high, and Mr. Potato Boat saw that it had been broken off. "Murder! You murdering pirate ship!" Once again, the toy boatmobiles believed that John did something awful to Neil. As they hurried away from the window, John tried to stop them. "You gotta help us, please. You don't know what it's like over here." But it was no use. Before John could turn around, the demolishers were all over Neil. John tried to stop them. "Alright, back, you demolishers." The toy boatmobiles grabbed Neil's wheel and pushed John aside. When they backed away, Neil's wheel was in place. John couldn't believe it. Hey, they fixed you." He tried to thank the demolition boatmobiles, but they scrambled back under the bed. Sid came into the room with a brand new rocket. "When am I gonna blow? Man. Here was that lazy cowboat toy." As John hid under the milk crate, Sid spotted Neil. He set the toolbox on the crate, trapping John. Then he picked up Neil and taped the rocket to his back. "Yes, to infinity and beyond." There was a clap of thunder, and it started to rain. Sid looked outside. "Aw, man." He parked at the window, waiting for it to stop. Sid wasn't the only one hoping for sunshine. Next door, Andy and his mom had finished packing for their move the next day. Andy went to bed, sad that he never found his favorite toy boatmobiles. While Andy and Sid slept, John called to Neil for help. He parked there with the rocket on his back, too sad to move. "I'm just a toy boatmobile." John glared at him. "Look, over in the house is a kitty boatmobile who thinks you are the greatest, and it's not because you're a space ranger, pal. It's because you're a toy boatmobile. You are his toy boatmobile." A few moments later, the crate began to shake. Neil was trying to push the toolbox off. "Come on, Sheriff. There's a kid over our house who needs us. Now let's get you out of this thing." Just as Neil managed to free John, Sid's alarm clock rang. Sid jumped out of bed, grabbed Neil, and headed outside. As Sid's toy boatmobile scooped out from under the bed, John asked them for help. Please. He's my friend. He's the only one I got. The toy Boatmobiles gathered around. Okay. I think I know what to do. And if it works, it'll help everybody. Working together, they escaped to the backyard where Sid was starting to light the rocket. Suddenly he saw John parked nearby. Hey, how did you get out here? As Sid watched, an army of demolition toy boatmobiles rose from the ground and drove toward him. John grinned. From now on, you must take good care of your toy boatmobiles. Because if you don't, we'll find out, Sid. Sid ran screaming into the house. Yikes! As John rushed to help Neil, a vehicle horn honked. Next door, Andy's family of a moving truck were leaving. Neil, with a rocket still strapped to his back, motioned to John. Come on. They raced after the truck and grabbed onto the back. John held on, but Neil fell to the street. Neil! Thinking fast, John found Andy's toy box and dug out a remote control flatbed trailer. He tossed it into the street and steered it toward Neil, who got on. Mr. Potato Boat, thinking John getting rid of another toy, called to the others. Get him! Toss him overboard. No, wait. But they pushed John into the street. John bounced off the pavement and onto a VRC trailer right next to me. Thanks for the ride. But the batteries ran out and the trailer slowed to a stop. John looked around, seeing the sun on Neil's roof. He used to focus sunlight on rocket fuels. When the fuse lit, John grabbed Neil and they rocketed toward the moving truck, but missed and went soaring into the air. Neil popped open his wings, tearing away the rocket from his back. The two of them glided over to Andy and his family. Hey, Neil, you're flying. They dipped into Andy's toy hauler trailer and Andy's family and the moving truck pulled over to park. Andy let out a happy yell. Hey, wow, Woody, Buzz. A few months later, John, Neil, and the other toy boatmobiles were gathered around the baby monitor once again. It was their first Christmas in the new garage house, and Andy was opening his presents. John smiled. Neil, Vanessa, you are not worried, are you? Me? No. Are you? No, Neil. What could Andy possibly get that is worse than you? Neil glared at John. Then the two toy boatmobiles smiled. They figured they were safe, at least until Andy's next birthday. Do you think it's easy being a toy boatmobile? Asked John and Neil. They may not say anything to your face, but wait until you leave the room.